It is never too late to start living your life by design. On today's episode, we're focusing on a critical aspect that can make or break your fashion business: costing your collection effectively. Whether you're an aspiring designer that hasn't launched yet but is thinking of launching soon, or you're looking to scale a brand that has been in existence for a while, understanding the financial structure of your designs is a major key to sustainable long-term growth. I'm excited to dive into this episode, but before we go all the way in, I want to be sure you've heard about the label launch blueprint. Staying stuck in DIY mode has caused too many talented designers to burn out. So after decades of experience in the fashion industry, I've taken all of my brand, design, sample development, marketing, and production expertise and put together an easy to follow step-by-step roadmap so you can take the guesswork out of your launch strategy. No more going around in circles, wondering what to do when and how to do it, and not having support along the way. I want you to give yourself the gift of clarity. Head over to cmdesignagency.com/label launch blueprint for more info, and I cannot wait to connect with you. Now let's get back to it. I'm going to dive into a story about two designers. One is a tale of missed opportunity, and the other is an example of what strategic success looks like. The first designer is Alex. Alex is a talented designer who is passionate about ethereal and whimsical fashion. She launched her first collection straight out of fashion school, and she's always felt inspired by the fairy tales that she fell in love with as a child. Her designs feature luxurious fabrics and intricate hand-sewn details, and she has poured her heart into each and every silhouette. But she paid little attention to the actual costs involved in making those designs come to life. Alex priced her dresses based only on what she felt they were worth, without having a clear understanding of the total cost of her materials, her production, and her overhead. Her collections actually did sell out, but you wouldn't know that by looking at her business account balance. The revenue from her collections all these years has barely covered the production costs, which has left her nothing for reinvestment or further growth of the business. Alex was stuck at an unreasonably low price point because she launched her collection hoping to appeal to those who have known and loved her and customers who were looking for luxe and quality garments at a bargain price. And once she sold a couple of collections, she couldn't just raise her prices at the last minute because she was risking backlash from the core customer base that she'd already attracted to her brand. So each season was a financial struggle, as you might imagine, right? And her dream of dropping larger collections and expanding into retail stores was put on hold indefinitely. It was just unrealistic with what she was working with. Now let's talk about another designer's journey. This is Sheena's journey. Unlike Alex, Sheena launched her brand with a clear business strategy. She also had a unique design aesthetic. Her collection was sleek and modern and versatile, and she had a focus on sustainability, which appealed to a lot of people these days. From the start, she was determined to immerse herself into the inner workings of the fashion industry and to have a comprehensive understanding of costing and pricing. So she worked closely with a mentor to develop a detailed cost structure for each of the pieces in her collections. She factored in the material costs, the labor costs, her overhead, and an additional margin for unforeseen expenses. Her pricing strategy was based on a cost-plus model, ensuring that each piece sold not only covered costs, but also generated a profit for her business. As Sheena's brand continued to grow and become more popular, she was able to maintain healthy profit margins, which allowed her to scale her operations from online DTC, which is direct-to-customer sales, to selling her collection to retail stores, which was part of her original vision for her brand. Because Sheena paid attention to her cost structure from day one, she was able to negotiate mutually favorable terms with retailers, ensuring that her brand would remain profitable in both markets, both DTC and specialty stores. This gave her room to invest more in outbound marketing and to hire staff, and she continued to grow and ultimately became a well-known, respected brand in the fashion industry. So which one of these designer journeys do you relate to more right now? Or better question is, who do you want to relate to long term, Alex or Sheena? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? We all know that. And Sheena was ready. So I'm going to break down a simple cost structure for you to consider when pricing your next collection so you can future-proof your business. Okay, when initially costing your collection, the three things you should consider are the materials cost, the labor cost, and your business miscellaneous costs or overhead. And the three numbers you want to get real familiar with is your base or total cost, your wholesale price, and your retail price. So if you're not completely new to this, you may already be thinking, hello, there are some other costs that are not factored into the cost sheet when you're figuring out how much one style is going to sell for. So let's look at some of the things that will be amortized over a couple of seasons as you manage your brand. You're going to incur costs for your first pattern and then that approved pattern. Also for your proto sample and your final sample and fit model. And then there's the digitized pattern and marker and the grading and the photographer and for the line sheet or the lookbook if you get help with those things and the digital assets, right? Your website and so forth. These are things you have to keep in mind, but don't be nervous about the fact that there are these extras because I'm going to show you where they fit in. Let's say hypothetically you're making a skirt and your materials are going to cost you $15 for the skirt. We're going to need to calculate your base cost, your wholesale price, and your retail price. But this is the starting point. Your materials, the fabric, the trim, the tags, the labels, and so forth. So to start, you're going to add 10% to that $15, and that's going to give you $1.50. You're going to add $1.50 to 15, which brings you to $16.50 for materials. And let's say that your labor cost to make up the skirt is going to be $35 for the cutting and the sewing. You're going to want to add 10% to that $35, which is $3.50. So $3.50 plus $35 is $38.50 for your labor. And the total for your materials plus your labor, you're going to add those two numbers together and it's going to give you $55. $16.50 plus $38.50 is $55. And next, you're going to want to add 10% of $55. 10% of $55 is $5.50. Now that's that little number that's going to cover, seemingly little number, but it absolutely adds up. That's going to cover all of your amortized costs. Now, you may be asking why we're padding these numbers in the first place. It's because you never know what's going to happen in the market. When you initially source your fabric, the price could change a little bit, right? Or down the line, there could be issues with shipping that end up costing you a bit more. You want to pad these numbers because you want to be ready for anything as you're developing, as you're putting together this collection. And now the three numbers you have here is your materials cost, your labor cost, plus your business miscellaneous. You want to add all three of those numbers together, and that's going to give you your base cost. The base cost in this example is $60.50 for the skirt that you're making. The next step is to mark up this base cost. Now, when you're marking up your base cost, you can mark it up anywhere between 1.5 and 3. Okay, we're going to pick a median number kind of sorter. We're going to mark up by 2.25. Okay, so $60.50 times 2.25 is $136.12. This is your wholesale price. Next, you're going to want to mark up your wholesale price by 2 to 3. In this example, we're marking it up by 2. So 136.12 times 2 is $272.24. Now this 272.24 is your retail price. This is how much you should be selling ballpark. I mean, you can tweak the numbers a bit. Like I said, you get to choose how much you mark up, but this is the price you will sell the skirt to your customers at. This is your DTC price. This is the price for the ballpark that your stores that you partner with will sell it at, something at least close to this number. And of course, they get to determine their own numbers as well. But the market that they are serving should be on par with the customer level you're serving. So these prices should make sense, not just for you, but for the stores as well. Okay? And please note, inside the LLB, the Label Launch Blueprint Accelerator Program, you would not have to do this manually. And this is a very simplified version of costing, just to get your, get your feet wet a little bit. In the program, you get a cost sheet that calculates all of these figures and so much more. Much more automatically. Okay. But for today's purposes, you can play with these numbers or use this as a starting point to figure out your own cost for whatever you're developing at the time or hoping to develop. And one other thing to note, if you are going to offer free shipping, you can add like $5 to $6 or $7 to that retail price so that you cover free shipping across the board. And if you want more information, you want to learn more about the program, tap in at cmdesignagency.com, or you can send me an email at info@cmdesignagency.com. So positioning your brand for scale from day one is going to give you room to expand from DTC to marketplaces, online marketplaces, and even retail stores eventually. And when you partner with these stores, just keep something in mind, okay? Neiman Marcus, Saks, Nordstrom, and every other store, no matter who they are or where they are, they're going to buy your collection wholesale. And they're going to make sure that they have proper profit margins in place. So you have the absolute right to maintain your margin as well. A healthy profit margin in the fashion industry is anywhere between 75% and 85%. That might sound high to some, but they're only going to say it's high if they're not knowledgeable about our industry, okay, and what it takes to actually have a viable brand. You're not pocketing all that money. It is used to fuel everything that your business needs to continue to thrive, okay? And yes, you deserve to pay yourself a salary. You're not going to keep on just doing this thing for the love of it, right? You need to make it make sense. So don't feel bad about operating your business like a business and not a hobby. Okay. In conclusion, going back to those examples I gave up for Alex's collection and Sheena's collection, they both started their designer journeys with similar dreams, but they had very different approaches to business. Alex's neglect of the financial aspects of her designs limited her growth and limited her profitability, which left her business unsustainable. On the other hand, Sheena's strategic planning and understanding of the industry and of the costs and prices associated with her collection not only secured her brand's profitability, but it also enabled her to grow sustainably over time. No matter how you slice it, a profit-conscious cost structure is going to be crucial to your long-term success. So tighten it up so you can stay ready. Thank you for tuning in to the Life by Design show. We welcome your feedback, so if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, leave a review, or share it with your friends. And if there's someone you think I should consider bringing in for a combo, send me a DM on social. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the other side.